Final two games of round 21, they gave us a lot, really. There were some low scores from guys with big prices, unfortunately. And I had all of them this week. Cleary, Fafita, Mitch Moses, my three highest price guys end up with some of the three lowest scores in my side this week, which is pretty frustrating. And Cleary as captain here didn't end up too great with the 51. He ended up with a couple of try assists. The 6 goals, they gave him a few random tackle breaks and one less missed tackle early in that game, which was really strange, with a couple of penalties as well. So it just wasn't his game, but still that floor type of game for him where kick meters were down, run meters were down. He obviously had, a couple offloads, which helped him there. Neither one tackle break, no tries. Yeah, it wasn't a lot going on for him in this one, along with, 10 in negatives to get that 51. He'll be great going forward. This just wasn't the one for him. He was involved in the second to last pass for the most part. Jerome Luai ended up with a few try assists that he was the last pass, which got him there. And, Cleary might have set it up or helped set it up, and it just wasn't to be. So, the 51 from him there, he's down 53k, and he becomes an interesting target if you can get up to 940. But I know that would be pretty tough, and a lot of people are down to sort of that 2 trades or something like that. And do you want to be using those last 2 trades on trying to get him in? Or are you going to save them for, we have 6 rounds left, and we're seeing a few injuries pop up. Paseka was one of them on the weekend, and we're seeing sort of 1 or 2 each week, and sometimes it's going to be from our players. And thankfully this week it wasn't really. There was no one of real note, but we may get a few guys that are potentially going to be out. It sounds like Hammer's going to be back to fullback, Cody Nikorima into 6, and a good chance that Jeremy Marshall-King is back. It sounds like he's been in full training, so Harrison Graham might not be there. So if you're holding Tohu, if you're holding Sean Johnson, if you've got Chance still, you may be in a little bit of curry this week trying to get the full 17, so that's where you may have to use a final trade or 2. But how does Isaiah Yeo in these kind of games where they absolutely still dominate, and he just continues to play the 80 minutes. If he's on the field, he's playing the full 80. Basically, is how this works. But he has had a couple of rests, so yeah, a great early easy try for him in this one, and then obviously the base there in the 50s to go along with it. So Isaiah was great. If you most people would have went Payne Haas over Yeo. And yeah, it's just an unlucky one. Payne Haas was a 55 as well as one of the other really high price guys that didn't eclipse the 60 mark. So that's that there. To'o was 69, so yeah, nice length of the field one for him. 250 meters, 2 tries was good stuff. Sorensen with a try as well to go along with his general sort of close to 50 base was great. Maxi King, this was a massive one for me, and he didn't end up getting the big minutes. He was 40 and 31, which was incredible. And then, still got 15, almost a point a minute for his second stint, but went off with about 12 minutes or so to go, I think it was. But yeah, ended up playing Maxi. Wouldn't have had too much. I got an extra 9 points over Brendan Hands, but that was my decision. So yeah, most of the cheap guys scoring pretty well, and we'll see with Josh Colquhoun there that he ended up scoring great as well as that cheapie trade in this week. Dill Edwards to 52. He started really low. He was on 9 there, and you thought he may have been able to get that try assist for the To'o try. But I suppose the length of the field one, when he probably should have passed it himself. I don't know. Weird that he didn't get off that line break assist offload there that worked out for him. But 9 tackle breaks, 180 meters, pretty well stock standard for Dill there. You had Burton, the 51 was solid. Lindsay Smith, 48 and 40. Amazing PPM there. Luai, the 3 try assists. Skelton got 46 in this one. So you end up with that late try. 9 tackle breaks, 197 meters. It was a little bit of a tougher game for him early on, especially with the penalty and the couple of errors, but he did turn it around and ended up scoring well and making 35k, which is really cool. Obviously that's not going to make a big difference, but maybe if you had Tungo out in this one, Preston out, that you may have had to play one of these cheaper guys, and hopefully you didn't cop it too hard. I did see a few people with Preston and Tungo that they were hoping to play and didn't get to, which was a bit of a killer. But with Skelton, you may have had to play him, which would have worked out okay in the end. Surprisingly, these outside backs for the Dogs ended up playing pretty well. You had Averillo 45, Carraz 43. You ended up having Flanagan there with a try assist and the 42 points. And Alamotti scored a try and got 42. So it really didn't matter. The outside backs, first time in a long time I've seen outside backs do well against the Panthers in this one. Obviously, that's where they scored their tries, is out on the edges. So whoever was the Sharks playing the Panthers, they have better outside backs than the Dogs, obviously, but I think they'll find it tough next week to score, given that they had 3 tries against them on the edges this week. I think that'll really kick them into gear, ready for next week. So Carraz, if you grabbed him, Obviously another 33k up. He's at 478 now, and he's still a little bit, still fairly cheap, but much higher than he was. So if you are looking for, if you are in the game for a wing fullback, then he could be your player. But yeah, continues to do work, and he's just got that awesome base, which is lovely. Can't believe they played Flanagan the 80 and Reed Marnie low minutes, and it sounds like he was sick as well, similar to that of Preston. But why wouldn't you start the game with Reed? Because the game was over. It was 4 tries very quickly before Reed even came on, so that just seemed silly for him to not play the early minutes and try and keep them in the game, and then if they need to spell him later, do that. But yeah, the game was over when he came on. No wonder he only played 20-odd minutes in this one. Fisher Harris, he ran really hard. I'm surprised. I thought I would have seen a tackle break from him. Maybe not, obviously. But 170 metres. He had 130-odd, 140 metres in that first stint, which was 20-odd minutes, which was crazy. But only 36 for him. If you had to play him, frustrating. If not, he's one of those guys. He's going to be an 18th man. If they have some closer games, he'll score better for sure. Luke Garner, a lovely line run off Cleary, which was good. Liam Martin, 30. Again, he looked early on. He looked so dominant, and he was going to score really, really well. And then ended up a bunch of negatives at neg 10. 54 minutes only. So yeah, if anyone was looking at him, people were mentioning it a while. For the last few weeks at 500k. Obviously, someone that could get you a 50 plus each week. He just seems to be 60, and then he goes back to 28 or 30 or something like that. It's just, it's just yuck, unfortunately, with him. What about Stephen Crichton? Line break assist, try assist, and 28 points. You a beauty. So just shows these types of games sometimes can be difficult. Like Taruva only had 78 meters in this one. Not all the time that the outside backs, if you're not the correct outside back in that game, obviously To'o did really well in amongst a few of the other guys. Like Edwards was solid, Sorensen, guys that score tries, great, but not often, not all the time that it works out for all of the outside backs. So, yeah, you can see that. It's happened with, the Sharkies. They had a few easier games, but Ronaldo really struggled. And in this case, it was Taruva, it was, Crichton for points, Liam Martin for points, and then Cleary. Wasn't involved in everything, so just kicking goals. Thankfully, he'd get, 2 points or close to it at the end of it, but a little bit frustrating. Wilson, the 11, Marnie, the 10. So hopefully he comes back and he's better, but that is frustrating. I think you would have to hold Reedy, considering he'd been scoring well before this, but 12 makes, 4 misses, not good there. And then Perham with 9 in 80, and Spencer Leniu 4 in 15, so not great on that front. If you're looking into this last game now, Sharkies and Manly, we do have some clear buys in this squad, and congrats to McInnes for a big game again. And Will Kennedy got involved in everything, 2 try assists and a try, and he probably should have got another one if he ended up going left and not kicking at that last second. It would have been apparently the biggest comeback ever for the Sharkies there, but everything was going right in that last 15 minutes. And if you're a Hines captainer, that last 15-20 minutes was absolute gold for you. He picked up some offloads, tackle breaks, plenty of run meters, and obviously 2 try assists and some goal kicks in that back end when they were trying to chase, which worked out great. Very, very happy for those that got that. I thought Garrick ended up, no wonder I lost a few ranks. I was rank 86, ended up finishing 88, and Garrick was updated to 53, and now he ends up with 58, so however that works. If that wasn't correct, let me know, but I think it was. Anyway, this last game for me wasn't great because Hines was sitting low and captaining Cleary. It was like, okay, he's owned by everyone, happy for him to go low, get a 35-40 or something like that, and then exploded. He had Ramian that went nuts. Cherry Evans, who went nuts, obviously there at 73. And then Garrick at 58. So, wasn't super ideal. Pretty high-scoring game, this one. Obviously with, Sharks going nuts at the end and the Seagulls really scoring heavy in the first bit. DCE, again, just frustrating how it works out. This week, Cleary goes low, Cherry Evans goes big. And it's like, anyone who went Munster and DCE, they score better than Cleary. You pick one of those guys, you pick Cam Murray this week, he gets 69, Fafita gets 46. It's like, that hasn't happened all year. And then this week it doesn't. So I think us owners of these high expensive guys need to just go, it's okay. We have the better average guys over the long term. They will revert back to their mean. So they will get back to their averages. But this week wasn't that, that week to sort of make the ranks. Hopefully the next couple of weeks is when we have those top guys, the Cleary Fafitas, over. A Munster could get a 30-odd, a DC they get a 30-odd as well. Cleary could too, but seems like that 50 is going to be about his floor. He had 5 tackles, which usually he'd have close to 20. So there's that there. Lockie Croker been the best hooker across the last 4 games, especially another 70 in this one with a 40-20 as well as a try and a try assist. Amazing work. Ola Kawatu got a try for his 63, so much much better in this one, back to one of his top games, and then likely to be a 30 odd or so next week. Ramian was on 25 early, and then he ended up with a try. Again, a lovely line run off Hines there. So if you had Hines as captain and you had Ramian in your team, you're absolutely loving life on that one. Nico, just again, Sharky's just playing terribly. They came back right at the end, but that 30-0 scoreline was very, very upsetting for any Sharks fans there. Last week was an absolute shocker where you kind of all wrote them off as, even top 8, kind of as the top 8 team there, let alone a premiership threat. And this loss at home just really, really, it hits home. It hurts, that's for sure. For Sharkies fans there, for sure. Garrick, very, very close to must-have territory, isn't he, as a wing fullback centre duel. Do you trade another keeper for him? Probably not, but man, he's important. Thankfully, Penasini for myself scored one better than Garrick, but he doesn't seem to have to do a lot in here. He has 0 negatives in this game. You need the 2 tackle breaks, but 8 tackles for 0 misses as a fullback. He's got 3 goals in there. He's picked up a try and 21 meters there. He was spectacular for what attacking stats he showed here. To get a 58 is amazing. Same with that Vakola. I actually think I saw a few people grab him in the end at 352k, given he was so cheap. And turns out if they had to play him, well, they grabbed him late just because he was, once they found out Tunga was out, there weren't too many options there. And Kohler was the cheap guy to grab in those last 4 teams. And he scored great. So good stuff for you. Jesse, 48. So ended up playing 69 minutes, which was good news. And I actually think defensively he was pretty good. They did end up scoring, a lot of their tries on that left side. So it's still an issue, but it is the first game for him. And I think the faith to play him big minutes in this one was good. Was good signs there, with him being able to get 69 minutes, 43 tackles for 2 misses, ran the footy well, with a couple of tackle breaks there. Yes, had an error, yes, had a penalty, but his first game with big minutes in the top grade, I think he did great. And hopefully he keeps his spot and he can be one of those guys that, break glass in case of emergency. We can play him if we need him, or we can loop him, even this week with, SJ out and whatever else, we can try and loop one of these guys. Blake Bradley was a little bit low at 42, not much happening for him, just tackles. Britton Nicoras, the 38 for him, back to one of those low games. He did have a line break and 3 tackle breaks and still went a little bit low. -8 there in this one, didn't score a try. Got close a few times like he always does, but wasn't able to cross for once. The last few weeks he's been getting those tries or something right at the end, and instead of him this week, it was Ramian that got the try, that late try off Hines. So that's that. Ronaldo, a little bit of a better score, but still 27, pretty yuck. To be honest, Connor Tracy was fine until, defensively they all got caught out on that side. And then Trindle, 16. So, shows the difference when he's not the main half. Obviously, 3 missed tackles, 2 penalties, got pumped in the first half, basically. And then never really recovered. And then Taniela Paseka, tough tackle on him, isn't it? Just getting ripped around and, end up with an error off that. Had to go along with his 1 run and 1 tackle. So, sad news for Paseka. I own him in Supercoach. Supercoach is getting pumped. You love this one, guys. A little story for you. I had Isaac Tungol, absolutely killed it last week. Grabbed him last week. And then this week he gets ruled out late. So I decide to reserve Taniela Paseka. And then I think Tungol goes, Peachy goes out in Tungol's spot and gets ended up with 2 tries and would have got, Tungol would have got like close to 100 or something like that. And then I get 1 from Paseka. So good times, that's for sure. But that's the wrap up, guys. With that, so heading into 6 rounds to go. We'll go through that video tomorrow and kind of set yourself up for the rest of the year, obviously. But that's that. We'll get into the round results a little bit later. Probably not much else to say, I think. Hope you all did pretty well and got out of it fairly unscathed. You can look at it again. Wait till teamless, guys, before you think about raid trading. I mentioned I'd raid trade Moses, but I think with trading him out, it's like I would do a double trade. Like I'd go down to Murray and then, go Buller to Garrick if I was to do a trade, but that means it's 2 trades. So, like, if you're going to straight swap him, you probably want to go to, like, Cleary or Fafita or, like, Payne Haas, something like that, if you have lots of eels like myself. That's the only reason, really, because I have the 4 eels. That's probably a good chance to trade him out with their fairly tough run. Like, they come up against the Storm this week, which I think they'll, won't be as hard as playing Cowboys, but, he'll probably be fine anyway. Probably just overreacting. Anyway, see you later, guys. Have fun.